Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Truth, lies, shenanigans. 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 It's the TLS show, coming to you live from the TLS show. It's the TLS show, coming to you live from the TLS show.
Everyone, welcome to the Truth, Lies, Shenanigans podcast. Social commentary, hot topics, and a ton of fun along the way with shenanigans of our own. We'll have amazing guests, games, and spirited conversation. My name is Neil Nix. For this week's show, for Black History Month, we're celebrating Black excellence, Black achievement, and discussing topics relevant to the Black community with our spotlight on Black History Month. This week, we have entrepreneur and entertainer Shanice Lewis joining us to tell us about her incredible career as a Black plus-size woman. And then we'll be joined by recording artist Brayden Henri, a Canadian rapper, singer, and songwriter with a unique sound influenced by Bob Marley and Tupac. He'll join us and share with us his story, and we'll hear his newest track called Moving On. Then in our quick fire, our topics will be Daunte Wright's killer, Officer Kim Potter, being sentenced to only 2 years. We'll be talking age of consent laws as an ex-DC cop was arrested for sex with a 16-year-old. And if we have time, we'll tackle our fan topic on Ahmaud Arbery's killer's violent racist rants before the attack. And in Shenanigans, the game show, it's Black History Trivia. All right, before we get into our show, let me introduce you to our amazing host for the next hour. First up, the professor, journalist, editor, and sports intern mentor at ESPN out of Washington, D.C., Miss Lizzie Enders.
What's up, everyone? Happy Sunday Fun Day. I hope you guys had an amazing week, got all of your Valentines in. Busy week for me, but it was a good type of busy, so I'm happy about that. But I really want to highlight and shout out Finland. Hyvä Suomi! Hyvä Suomi!
What happened to Finland?
Team Finland won men's Olympic hockey gold.
Oh,
beating
really?
The
I didn't know.
ROC
We didn't
beating
know.
Team Russia. So yes, Hyvä Suomi. I got the game happened yesterday. I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was working doing NBA All-Star stuff. But then I woke up this morning and saw like all of these text messages from the Finns. I'm like, uh-oh, did somebody die? And then I started reading all the messages. I'm like, oh my God, gold! Hyvä Suomi. Hyvä
Tells you how
Suomi.
much I've been watching the Winter Olympics. So
I haven't watched any of it. However, I am happy for my Finnish.
Well,
brethren.
congratulations
Happy
to Finland.
So we
All
have
right.
the Volta
That's a big
here.
win.
We have the Volta here. The Volta here.
Vodka.
Okay.
All right. Then we have our gamer, tech guru, rock star with a rock band Fallen Machine coming to you from Sudbury, Ontario, in Canada, Mr. Rob B. Rob.
What's up? Happy Sunday Fun Day, everyone. And Liz, I gotta echo that. That's amazing for Finland to come out on top in this tournament. Good on them. It's I've had a slower week. It's been one of those things where the most exciting thing I did was buy a new popcorn maker, and it's on money. It's awesome.
A new popcorn.
I know, right? Yeah, I know. But I did
sound
have
very
an
exciting.
interesting experience. I'm kind of new to wearing glasses, so a lot of things I'm still learning.
Me too.
So I thought that I went blind for a moment this week. I opened the stove and I got a blast of heat, not realizing that it was going to fog up my glasses. Everything just went white, and I just backed away and went, "Oh man!"
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
all right, I'm back.
Okay.
I love it.
Learning learn
craziness.
something new.
I have a funny popcorn maker story for you for the after show. A fun story for the after
Nice.
show.
All right.
Very specific.
And our college student, guitarist, aspiring comedian coming to you from the campuses of the University of Maryland, Miss Ellen Dahl.
What's up, y'all?
What's up,
Ellen,
Ellen?
Sunday,
Ellen.
day of suns. I'm currently in a situation that's one of the best things that can ever happen to you, which is when someone asks you to dog sit. So this is my first human interaction of the day, but as soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm gonna get up out of here and go hang out with some dogs. So
Ooh, that sounds like that actually sounds like a
Good
lot
for
of fun to me.
you.
it's the best. It's the best thing that can ever happen to you. I don't know what you guys did, but when I was in early college, what you would do is you would dog sit and then like drink in people's houses. So, you know, I'm the older version of that now is just me drinking with the dogs by myself, but you know, great times. It's
I would
fantastic.
drink at people's houses. I don't know about dog sitting while I was there, but I would definitely drink at people's houses.
You gotta have a place to do it. Where else are you gonna do it? Ellen's dog sitting this weekend. Let's go. You know?
All right, so I know you've been looking for Gianni Storm, but she's off again this week, working hard on the Beyond the Scars podcast with Olivia. Real people with real stories of perseverance. Chapter 7, Part 2 comes out this Wednesday, and we're listening to the end of the story of Dr. Tayari Kuanda and his difficult family dynamics being uprooted from Detroit in the 70s to the South Central LA of the 80s, and how he survived, ultimately using his adversity to persevere into excellence and help youths as an educator. You can subscribe and listen to all of the stories of tragedy, pain, and hardship, and how each person was able to survive and persevere, including our own Robbie Rock, who tells his story of the after effects of his brother's suicide. Subscribe on Spotify, Facebook, Google, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you listen to podcasts, or you can simply go to beyondthescars.show. Once again, we have a packed show this week. So let's just go ahead and get started. It's Black History Month, and you'll remember last season we had our spotlight on the likes of the first Black Olympic rower, Akil Abdullah, and the youngest member of the Little Rock Nine, Carlotta Walls Lanier. For the month of February, we're honoring Black History Month, Black Achievement, and Black Excellence, both past and present, in our spotlight for Black History Month. Today's spotlight for Black History Month is on entrepreneur and entertainer Shanice Lewis. Welcome to the show, Shanice. How are you?
Hey,
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Love having you.
thank you for joining us.
So, Shanice, you're a host, multimedia personality, actress, speaker, influencer. You have quite the resume. When I Googled you, there was a ton of information about you, a ton. So I wanted to start off asking, what can you tell us that our audience would not be able to find out about you if you Googled right now?
I don't know, because like you said, it's a lot. So maybe it doesn't say that I'm an only child, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
That might be Googleable.
So you're an only child. What was that like growing up? I mean, being an only child.
It was great. You don't have to split money with anybody.
It's true.
Fair.
I'm the youngest. I was given money. I never split money. And I ain't splitting it now. But good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I was the
Good for you.
pseudo oldest, so it was strange. But so Forbes recently spotlighted you as well, recently as one of the original plus size influencers, since you made history being the first ever crowned Miss Plus America in 2003. So what has been your experience being a plus size Black woman in America?
Oh, wow. That's a loaded
It
question.
is.
I mean, you could talk about being plus size in entertainment or just being plus size every day, day to day. Which aspect do you want?
You go for it. Yeah, what is it
Well,
like for you?
Well, fortunately, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So fortunately, growing up, I had a positive experience, unlike others. Maybe because I'm from the South. So in the South, a little curvier is more accepted.
Mhm.
And my mother was a teacher. So she had the tools to instill confidence in me. And she always told me I was beautiful and I was smart and ignore anyone if they had anything negative to say about me. So
Mm.
my setup for success started as early as elementary school because I can remember my mother having that talk with me, telling me I was smart and I was beautiful. So when I had negative influences, whether it's in person or in entertainment, I already had it instilled in me that I was worthy and I was, somebody regardless of my size.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's me
Mm.
growing up the same way. I had to come to that realization that it doesn't matter what people say about you, it's how you feel about yourself.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, out of curiosity, I didn't realize you were from Baton Rouge, but out of curiosity, our society is built on judging people on how we look, like from, let's say, from race, size to gender. So, I have a question. Do you feel that you received more discrimination and prejudice from being plus size, from being black, or from being a woman?
Well, I used to say I have three strikes against me when I walk in the door because you're right. You get discriminated from all three aspects.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on the situation. But I would say for me, I can't speak for everybody, but I think black is number one discrimination, I would
Yeah.
say, in America.
Yeah. Yeah. Lizzie, did you have a question? Because I feel the same way. I feel like being black has been the biggest struggle.
My question is more generated towards what you do as an advocate for positive body image. So one, I want to applaud you on that. But tell me, how has that worked out during the pandemic, right?
Mm.
Where a lot of people have been stuck inside for almost 2 years. Their images or the way they feel about themselves, the confidence they have within themselves, a lot of pandemic weight, right? So, has
Mhm.
your approach to um, positivity when it relates to body image has it changed during the pandemic? Has your workload increased during the
Mhm.
pandemic? Like, how has that been for you?
Well, I said I was originally from Baton Rouge, but I must say that I moved to Los Angeles in 2004 to pursue my career. So that's where the bulk of my brand was built, and a lot of my accolades were achieved in Los Angeles. But I had to move back to Baton Rouge in 2014 due to a ill parent. So that's a disadvantage of being an only child. I didn't
Mm.
have anybody to
Mm-hmm.
help me take
Mm-hmm.
Right,
care of a sick
That
right.
parent.
is a
And
disadvantage.
since 2014, I've been back in Baton Rouge. So since then, I already had to pivot because I wasn't in a major market anymore where all the action was. So my pivot started there. So when the
Hmm.
pandemic came, it was a pivot as far as everything turning virtual. Like I didn't know how to use Zoom before 2020. I never really had to use Zoom hardly for anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just a lot of more virtual events. You could still do, photo shoots and post pictures. The only thing, it was a less in person interaction. But I don't think anything as far as the messaging changed at all.
Gotcha,
Great. All
gotcha,
right,
gotcha.
Robbie.
Yeah, so getting ready, I did a little bit of digging and I came across your YouTube channel, and you have a wonderful little trailer, a snippet that from an appearance in 2008. And I was really taken by your positivity, your message of self acceptance. You just exuded this confidence. And you offered the young lady 2 tickets to a fashion event, and you told her less than supportive boyfriend, you know, leave them at home, bring someone who's more positive. I loved that. And I just wanted to know how important it is for you to share that message, because it seems to be something that was ingrained in you just very early on. I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Well, it's very important for me to spread that message. Being on Dr. Phil as an expert was a big milestone for me because I was an expert instead of the one being problematic on the show.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that was good. And, one of my big things is to encourage other women to love themselves. And sometimes everybody doesn't have a mother to tell them that they're beautiful and smart. Sometimes your mother is the source of your low self-esteem. So I have my mission is to teach women and men, because as time went by, I learned that men need to have positive body image as
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
especially with this boom of social media. And you seeing these images that are not realistic. You already saw unrealistic images on television and in magazines, but with social media, it's in your face
Mm-hmm.
24/7, especially if you're addicted to it like me and you're on Instagram all the time. And so, it's starting to have a toll on not only young people but older people as well, because social media only shows the highlights of your life, not your low lights. So on social media, I do try and show when things go bad. Like I posted that I had COVID. Some people were keeping that a secret. I was like, I had COVID. I'm a COVID survivor. When things go, sometimes I'll post with no makeup on. My life is not perfect, and that's okay. Everybody's life is not perfect. It's just to show that whatever you look like, whatever you're going through, whatever obstacles you have, it's okay. You can get through it and you can achieve and be great.
So how are you holding up as a COVID survivor? How are you feeling?
Well, now I'm on a inhaler, because as soon as I
Oh,
got over it, I was having I couldn't breathe as well.
Oh
I
wow.
was having shortness of breath. But I haven't been using the inhaler every day. So I
You're getting
think
better.
yeah, I don't think I had the worst case, because like I never lost my appetite or anything, so I still was good.
You
are
smile
they
when you
are your doctors telling you that that's some symptom of long haul COVID, or what have they said to you about that?
Well, no, I don't think so, because the inhaler I got has no refill. So I think after this, they said
Oh,
it's
okay,
just temporary.
okay, good,
okay.
good,
Because
good.
I
Good for
must
you.
have had the Omicron, so that wasn't
Hmm.
the
So you
worst
got the
variant.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you didn't get
because
the
I
Delta
just
one.
just got over it like a couple weeks ago, so I got the mild one.
All right. Well, we're
Good for
glad
you.
you got over it.
Good
Ellen,
for
did you
you.
have a
Mhm.
question?
Yeah, I'm curious as to how your work in the body positive space has changed over the years, because you
I was
mentioned
wondering that. Mm-hmm.
being in this space, in the early 2000s when it was that body. I was very small, so I'm not sure, but I don't think that body positive conversations were happening at the time. It was all about the low waisted jeans and all that.
Mhm.
So has your work become easier over the years as people have become more
So,
cognizant of body acceptance, or is it,
No,
yeah,
indeed, no.
nope.
Yeah.
So
okay.
when I first started, I had chose positive body image as my platform as Miss Plus America. So it was something initially I was obligated to promote once a month, um, to fulfill as my title, but it became the catalyst of my brand. And so at the beginning, when I said I was promoting positive body image, people didn't even understand what that meant. It wasn't something
Right.
like, this was 2003. That wasn't a part of popular culture at the time. So I had to teach a lot of people what that even meant. Now, fast forward to now, 20 years later, body positivity is so mainstream till it's almost hijacked now. People are doing different things to sell products, and it's really, some people don't even want to claim it now, because when it gets mainstream and monetized, sometimes people just
Mm-hmm.
ruin stuff.
Yep.
But I would say it's needed even more now, because like I said before, this social
Yeah.
media glorifies people with these plastic surgeries,
Mm-hmm.
everybody using these filters in their faces to
Liposuction.
change how they
Filters,
look.
filters.
Mhm.
It's the
you know
filters. I have friends. I've seen a lot of them post stuff, and I'm like, wait, who are you? And you don't want
right.
to say that to judge, but it's just like, wow. And then you see them in person, it's like, wow, the other way. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of social media pressure and demand to present yourself a certain way, right, on the internet, and then kind of like keep quiet about it when you finally see your friends and family in the future, because they're giving you the side eye, and it's like, I don't expect you to filter yourself for me. Like that's not what I want
and
you to do for me.
Right.
it depending how how many followers you have on social media, you could get body shamed as well because people love to
We've
dog
been
people
talking
out
about that.
on social media. And I mean, we are out of high school, but I'm
Like
pretty sure high
Nelly.
schoolers be dogging each other out too on social media.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
like the way
Like
Nelly was,
Nelly.
like the way Nelly,
Like
like the way
Nelly, a
Nelly
little
has been,
fish.
like the way Nelly has been body shaming women for the past decade. We want to
I'm
do this
sorry.
over again. We're going to do this over again.
I'm just playing around. We talked about this last week. So we had but no, body shaming is certainly an issue that's very prevalent. We've been talking about it quite a bit on the show.
I think the filters make me sad because I've seen a lot of people now not just filtering themselves, but filtering images of their children. And it's just like, what? The baby isn't
Wow.
that dark. The baby doesn't look like what are you doing? What are
but
you
sometimes when you
doing?
use those filters and you clean the picture up, you get more likes. So they're doing what they can to get those likes.
Yeah,
That's all they care
yeah.
about.
That's
Mhm.
And that's a
it's
shame.
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I have another question. So out of all the things that you've done, that you've accomplished, because you have a long list of accomplishments, uh, what are you most proud of?
Um, I'm most proud that I even took a chance to even pursue this so early when it wasn't mainstream. Because, like you said, I was featured in Forbes as one of the original plus size influencers. But at the time, influencer wasn't even a word in our vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Right.
I didn't even know I was being an
An
influencer.
influencer.
So I was just, being a trailblazer, just trying to be seen and get exposure and spread my message of positive body image. So, what I'm most proud of is, especially from being from the South and being African American. African American parents usually don't encourage you to have a career like this. They want you to be a teacher or work at the plant, especially down here where I live. So I'm just proud of being courageous and taking a leap of faith when I didn't know what it could go either way, and when it was able to be successful.
Do they still do the Miss Plus Size competition?
Yes, Miss Plus America
Miss
is
Plus
actually
America?
celebrating its 20th anniversary this year, and it'll be in Houston, Texas.
Wow. Are you typically a part of it still? I mean, being the first?
I'm not. I haven't been there every year since 20 years. No. But I'm trying to see if my schedule will allow me to be there this year since it's an anniversary. So we'll see.
Amazing.
Do you think
Mm.
the pageant world is becoming more inclusive as it relates to body image?
Great question.
Yes, because there's a tons of pageants, but the most popular ones are the one on television. So like Miss
Mm-hmm.
America and Miss USA are the most popular ones and the ones with the most visibility.
Right.
And those are the
Mm-hmm.
ones that have a strict standard. So everybody just goes to that when they're referring to pageants. But if you do research, there's pageants for plus size women, there's pageants for disability, people with disabilities, there's
Mm,
pageants for older women. They're all kind of pageants. They just don't get the support and the sponsorship
right.
as the mainstream ones. But there's like hundreds of pageants for it. There's pageants for men too. Everything.
But Miss America and Miss USA and all the rest of them, they don't typically have contestants that are plus size, or are they
No,
allowing more? No, still not happening.
no, no,
So,
no.
so we as Americans still aren't seeing that as beautiful. Is that what we're saying? Because that's not
Yeah, I
fair.
mean,
Because I mean, it
like
is
like
beautiful.
Miss America, I think, has been around for 100 years. So, they're kind of stuck in their ways, and not really evolving with the times. But, there's a lot of things that haven't evolved yet. So we're still working on it, trying to get there.
Yeah. So
Well,
Jack,
remember, Miss Universe and Miss USA used to be run by Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
So
Right.
we're trying to get out of that as well. Mm-hmm.
And like we're just celebrating those pageants having black winners. So we can't
Right.
even
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. We're
Mm-hmm.
we can't even get to the
Yeah.
body yet. We're just getting black winners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jacqueline Robinson online says filtering is the epitome of catfishing. Um, yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
But yeah, so Shanice, unfortunately, we're running short on time, but I want to give you a minute for any final thoughts, anything you'd like to share, any shout outs, anything you'd like to say to anyone out there.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed talking with you all. My final thoughts would be just follow me on social media.
Definitely.
I'm Shanice Lewis on every single platform. I'm in my government name on every platform.
Shanice Lewis.
And,
Uh,
you all have stage
Pseudonyms.
names. I
We have
use my
pseudonyms. Yep.
government name.
This is
I
not a stage
honestly
name.
think
Thank you.
Oh,
I think I think that is one of the things we say a lot in Washington D.C., but also in the Black community. What is your government
Government
name?
name.
What's your
No,
government
you
name?
gotta say it right. Government name. Government name.
so just
I have a story about that for the after show too. I have a story about that for the after show as well.
so
Jacqueline
just
Robinson.
follow me.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get in my last little promo.
No, I want you to promote you promote yourself. We want to hear it because we're going to repeat it.
Yeah, so just follow
Get
me
it
on all
in.
social media platforms. And I have a podcast. We didn't even get to talk about the podcast.
Oh, you have a
but
podcast. Let's talk
Oh,
about
yes.
it. Let's talk about it. Tell me
No,
about your
my time
podcast.
is up. You
No,
sure?
let's talk about your podcast.
No,
Let's
go
get-
right ahead.
I
We
want to
can
hear
get
about
to
your
it.
podcast. Tell us about your podcast.
So my podcast is the first podcast created for the plus size industry because I launched it in 2008. So I've been a podcaster now for 13
Wow.
years.
Wow.
And
You
so
gotta work. My
so
goodness.
it's a story about that. I'll have to come back to talk about podcasting.
Yeah, we'd
But
love to have you back.
but it's the Shanice Lewis Show. So definitely follow my social medias for me and my podcast to keep up with what's going on. And I always have something, positive for body positive, for African American women, for natural hair. I'm in a lot of communities.
Oh yeah, I actually do. We're definitely going to check out that podcast. So it's the Shanice Lewis Show, right?
Yeah, and if you
All
go
right.
to my main
Right.
website, it's a link to the podcast.
And let me make sure I spell Shanice for all of our listeners. It's Shanice, Chenese, Lewis, Lewis. Shanice
Yeah.
Lewis. So definitely check out her page. You can also go to shanicelewis.com and check it out. We've got the link in the descriptions. I just want to point out a comment from Jacqueline Robinson. She says, look how long it took for the Miss America pageant to evolve before we got Vanessa Williams. And Mike
Right.
Wolf also said, I've heard that Liz and my old colleagues at Sports Illustrated are trying to be more plus inclusive in their swimsuit issue.
Oh,
First
Liz,
of all, I
you
know
got
that.
opportunities?
So I worked at Sports Illustrated for 18 years, and they have a swimsuit issue. And so I would say over the past 6 or 7 years, they've been plus size positive and plus size inclusive. They still have a lot of work to do, and sometimes it feels like pandering, but they have included a lot of plus size models, including Ashley Graham, who has been
Right.
on the cover of SI Swimsuit.
They're
So that's a
kind
good
of
thing.
curvy. They're kind of curvy. They
Yeah.
They're
don't
not
have
plus
that
size.
Yeah,
all the
She's
yeah,
meat.
not-
and
They don't have all the
and see
meats.
that
They don't have all the
that
meat.
was something I was going to ask you
She did it with a
because
hard T.
because
Meat.
because there is some question as to what qualifies as plus size, which in a lot of circles means above a size 10, but even a size
Right.
10 for a thinner woman is not plus size. So sometimes you
Right.
have these publications who are taking, a woman with a little bit of boob here and calling her plus size. And so that's a whole other
Right.
conversation. But yes,
Right. I
it's,
got to
it's
come back.
yes,
We'd
you
love
do.
we'd love to
Yes,
have you
you
back.
do.
We might even bring
Yes,
you
you
back as a
do.
guest host. We might talk. We're gonna have to talk after the show.
Okay.
All right, Shanice, we're gonna reach out to you. We loved having you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Fantastic
Miss
guest.
Shanice.
Thank you. Keep in touch.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Mike Wolf, I'm going to pinch you. I never worked for SI Swimsuit. I never worked for SI. I took that money, though. Don't you worry. I took that SI Swimsuit money, though.
I bet you did. She's an amazing guest, right? We definitely have to get her back. We have to reach out to her.
Absolutely.
Have Jose reach out to her, and we're gonna have to get her back even as a guest host, maybe. She was a lot of fun. All right, let's jump right into our next guest. Today's spotlight is on singer, rapper, and songwriter Brayden Henri.
What's up,
Hey,
Brayden?
Brayden.
Hello.
So you went through all of that to ask him how to pronounce his last name, and what do you say?
We'll say Henry, although I'm French, and it is Henri, but I tell
Henri.
people it's Brayden
Exactly.
Henry.
I was asking Neo because he said Henry.
Yeah.
Tell the
That's what
people
he
again,
said to
Brayden,
say
how to say your
Henry.
name. Tell the people how to say. We want people to be authentic. Tell the people how to say your name.
So my name is Brayden Henry, and that's how you guys can say it.
That's what I'm talking about.
All the Americans. All the Americans. That's what he's talking to. He's talking to the Americans out there. The Canadians know. The French Canadians know.
Nah, there's a lot of anglophones up here too.
That's
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Really? That don't acknowledge? Really? Oh wow. That's disappointing. That's disappointing.
All right, Brayden. Well,
Well,
welcome
welcome,
to the
Brayden.
show. We love
Yeah, thank you very much for
joining.
having me.
All right, so you have an amazing budding career, but before we get into all of that, can you just tell our audience one thing that they can't Google about you?
Yeah, one thing that you can't Google about me is I love to garden.
What? I was
I love
not
to
expecting
garden.
that.
Yeah,
That
I
was
love to
not
garden.
expecting.
I raise chickens, and I know how to do some log building.
Wow.
I also enjoy long walks on the beach.
That's gonna be on his online profile when he's trying
Yeah,
to date.
yeah.
Long walks on
Yeah.
the beach.
Is that on your match
Yeah.
profile? Maybe we shouldn't ask if you're single already. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
ask later.
That's a few things you can Google about me, and you probably won't find.
Okay, awesome. Good
Yeah.
to know. So a gardener, all right. So
Yeah.
as a connoisseur of hip hop and R&B, and I told you this from pre-show, I think you're actually excellent. Your single is very impressive. So you're pretty talented. How did you develop that sound that you have, and what are some of your influences?
Thank you very much. How I developed the sound probably is just being around music my whole life. When I was young, my family encouraged me to do artistic things like always dancing, singing. When I was young, my dad put a guitar in my hands, and I would just make up my own words and play my own songs. And over the years, it kind of turned into definitely turned into a passion and something I love to do. And I want to pursue that and share what I create with others,
And
hopefully affect them positively.
how long have you been singing, rapping, or where did you transition from singing to rapping, or was it just all part of
Growing up, I've
process?
always been into both singing and rapping, but when I was about 15, 16, I really started getting deeper into it and starting to play instruments and writing my own lyrics and making my own beats and that sort of thing. So
So you make your own beats. So I know you're a songwriter, but you make your own beats as well. That's awesome.
yeah.
So how much of your album did you produce so far of yourself?
Out of the album, I produced every song myself, but I had the help of a producer, Dustin, who I actually was a guest on your show before.
Dustin Moore. Yeah, Dustin Moore has
Remember
been on the
Dustin?
show before.
Remember
Yeah,
Dustin?
he's a very talented guy, and I had a great experience working with him. Learned lots, and
He is a talented guy.
expect to work with him much more.
He has a fantastic camera too. The last time he was on the show.
He's smoking.
We're never gonna get over that.
You can-
We're never gonna not be envious of that camera on
That
this
camera, we're
show.
all envious of that camera. Boy.
Yep.
Just glowing.
So I want people to, before we go any further, I want people to take a listen of your first single. Did you want to introduce it for us?
Yeah, sure. So this is the lead single off my debut EP. It's called Moving On, and it's about overcoming life's obstacles and keeping strong. And I hope you guys all enjoy.
I love it.
If you're down and out, man, I've been there too. Right now I'm puffing on this weight and I'm drinking a brew. These days I'm feeling high, yeah, I'm feeling free. And I will know you different people that feel just like me. We all go through ups, we all go through downs. We all go through shit that makes the world go round and round. So breathe slow, baby, and take a breath of air. Don't let the storm catch you as you sit around and stare. I know the storm's getting heavy and it's cold out. The digging probably ain't gonna make you home. Say, but it's the storm, baby, and you know now. Fuck her, are we moving on? I know the storm's getting heavy and it's cold out. The digging probably ain't gonna make you home. Say, but it's the storm, baby, and you know now. Fuck her, are we moving on? Yeah, life got you feeling all these types of waves. Life ain't a beach, but got you surfing all these types of waves. Yeah, the water's deep, these boots are heavy, true. Sometimes it might feel like you're sinking, but you'll make it through. Hold on, little soldier, hold on. Gotta maintain composure, gotta keep yourself strong. You gotta hold on, little soldier, hold on. Gotta maintain composure, gotta keep yourself strong. I know the storm's getting heavy and it's cold out. The digging probably ain't gonna make you home. Say, but it's the storm, baby, and you know now. Fuck her, are we moving on? I know the storm's getting heavy and it's cold out. You thinking probably ain't gonna make you home. Say, but it's the storm, baby, and you know now. Fuck her, are we moving on? Say what you know about it. I'm in with it without it. I'm moving on.
Wow, dude. Wow. That was like, I'm telling you, that's solid. So this dropped on the
Thank you very much.
17th, like 3 days ago, right? And you've already got already
Yeah,
10,000 over 10,000 views.
yeah, it's
Wow.
going very well.
Wow, dude, that I mean, your flow is so crisp. I love it. Robbie, did you
Thank you
have
very
something?
much.
Did you have something to say?
Actually, Brayden, hats off. This is a great song. It's a wonderful video, and I know that speaking to Dustin behind the scenes before I actually knew who was creating this music, he shared with me that you are one of the hardest working musicians he has ever had the pleasure of working with, and I just want to say that it really comes through in your work. So well done, well done. And I
Thank you
was
very
just
much.
curious if you could just tell me about the process when you took your song and decided to create a video. It's because two very different mediums. Where did you get your
Yeah.
inspirations, your ideas?
Well, at first I had an idea that was like a little bit excessive, I think, and it didn't end up coming into fruition. So we gathered back and thought of a few different ideas that we could do that were a little bit simpler and that could still give the same feel and vibe that I wanted to portray with this song. And it ended up coming together really well.
Yeah, no question. I'm telling you, I just keep. And did you? So you did the guitar, soundtrack for that?
Yeah, I played the guitar in the track, but the solo at the end is actually Dustin who was playing that. So
Oh, so he did the solo. Okay,
Oh,
'cause the
yeah,
solo is pretty
okay.
tight too. The solo is pretty
yeah,
tight too.
yeah, it's definitely tight. Yeah.
So yeah, okay. All right, so there's some comments online. Karen Cat Karen Cat Thompson says, as the young say, he's spitting bars. Jeanette Brown says, woot woot. Paulette Bertrand says, I'm impressed. Cherry Blaine Priest, wow, Brayden Henri, that song is amazing. So
Awesome.
we're
Thank you, everyone.
getting a lot of good feedback. So Ellen, you're a guitarist, you're a musician. So do you have
Yes.
any questions for Brayden?
Yeah, I'm curious how your grind, how the pandemic affected your grind, because I know that you're a hardworking guy and we blocked out a lot of distractions during the pandemic. So I want to know how that played into your production.
That's a good question because I know it affected Rob B as well. So
Mhm.
Yeah. How would the pandemic affected me and my music? It
Mhm.
it didn't affect much in the production side of things, other than
Mhm.
restrictions like going to the studio and that type of thing. Other than that, is
Mhm.
now things are just starting to open now, so I'm able to book some shows and start getting out there and performing to people live,
Mhm.
which is something that I wasn't able to do before, which I'm looking forward to doing. Um,
we're gonna
yeah,
see
and
one of your
that's
live shows.
yeah, definitely. But
There's very
I
few
don't.
people that impress me. Like I was saying to you before the show, I mean, there's very few people that are that just coming off just that impressive. I just really think you're really good. What were you going to say?
You
Thank you
I'm
very
sorry,
may
I
much.
cut
have
you off.
someone you may have someone that's in the market that may be able to attend these shows at very little expense to TLS Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were getting ready to say something, Henry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, no, other than that, I don't think there's really been too many barriers for me, other than meeting new musicians and artists and
Mm,
doing some networking. Like that's something that I haven't really been able to do, or you know,
right.
that's about it though.
Lizzie.
Which is a big piece, I think, though, to be interacting with other
Right.
musicians and artists.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
important.
that's
For
important.
sure.
Do you have any
So
collaborations, real quick? Do you have any collaborations on your album? I haven't heard the entire EP.
no, I don't have any collaborations on this release here. Everything is just me singing on the track.
I feel like a
Uh,
Robbie Rock, Brayden Henri collaboration would be perfect.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that could be. I think that could be great.
All right, Lizzie.
So for, huge hip hop fan, but I'm from like, the US, right? So not very
Yeah.
familiar with the hip hop community in Canada. So describe to me and to the listeners, like, what is hip hop like in Canada?
What is hip hop like in Canada? I don't think it would be too different than
Okay.
how it is in the States, other than the artists. Artists in Canada, I find are like you don't hear of them as much,
There's
depending on which
so
Yeah.
artist.
many.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's so many.
Is the genre as
No, I think
popular
there.
in Canada?
I think
Is the
so.
genre as popular? Okay.
I think so. Definitely, it depends on who you ask, right? Everybody has a different taste in music and different wants and needs, and I think uh, I think it's very similar,
Are you in
except
Ontario?
for,
Are you
yeah,
located? Yeah, you're located in Ontario.
I'm also
He's right
located
by
in
Rob.
Sudbury.
Oh, that's right. Right by
Yeah, he's
Rob.
right by Rob.
Yeah,
He's right by Rob.
yeah,
He's about
So my
yeah,
4 kilometers that way.
Four oh, so
second
yeah,
that close.
yeah. We live real close. Yeah,
So is
So
this
then
your?
my second question
Oh,
for
good.
you, no, just very
yeah,
quickly. Second question for you is because um last week, we had the Super Bowl, right? And everyone
yeah,
was hyped about the hip hop Super Bowl halftime. Did you watch?
yeah. I did watch it. Yeah,
What did you
I
think?
did
What did
watch
you
it.
think?
I thought it was awesome. I thought they made a great performance. I love the
Yep.
artists that they picked to come out and perform, and I thought it was great. I thought it was something very different than they've done in the past, and I think a
Good.
lot of people were happy to see that.
Good.
So
And hopefully,
I
that
was.
gave you
That's for
inspiration.
sure. Yeah, it
Oh,
does.
I was
It
gonna say,
does. It
hopefully
did
that
give
it gave you
inspiration.
inspiration as an up and coming artist, because all of those artists, right, at one point were where you are now. So hopefully
Yeah,
it gave you some inspiration. So good,
yeah,
good, good, good.
yeah. It
Glad you
definitely
watched it.
does.
here's a question online for you. So Jacqueline Robinson asks, were you inspired by Aubrey James, aka Drake?
Uh,
He's from Keys,
Aubrey
Canadian as
Real
Am I
well.
Scared Jimmy.
inspired? Am I
Real Scared
inspired?
Jimmy.
Yeah. I mean, like he has a great career. He has a lot of great music, and yeah, he's an inspiring artist for sure. To see where he came from and where he is now, and the impact that he has on people's lives day to day, right, with his music, and that is,
Mhm.
it's awesome. And I just hope to have the same impact on people,
Yeah. So your
or
flow
an
and your
impact
style,
similar.
your flow and your style seem very different than Drake's, though, right?
Yeah, definitely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely
So
different.
who would you say you're most like?
Who I'm most like?
I mean, I
Mm,
know you're very unique. It's very different. But who are you most
Yeah,
like in the hip hop community?
I'd say I'm similar to like Post Malone or Russ, like
Okay,
depending on what type of music I'm making also, right?
that's
Because I make
true,
a
right? Mhm.
wide variety of different stuff, so it's kind of hard to place it all in
Yeah, into one
one
category.
basket. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And there's no reason to. There's no reason to put yourself into that one basket. I mean, because
yeah,
all right,
you
I'm
have a
gonna
lot of
put you
ways to
on the
go.
spot for a second here because, um, believe it or not, I know who Post Malone is, which I think
yeah.
is a feat within itself.
Wow,
Yeah,
Liz.
Um,
yes, because yeah,
but
that's
you have a beautiful face. Don't mess it up like Post Malone. Don't
Oh,
mess it up like
yeah.
Post Malone.
I almost was
Perfect.
gonna ask that question. Are you gonna?
Well,
Don't mess.
thank
You
you.
have a beautiful face, and I think you would be, in addition to your talent as a rapper, you would be very marketable. But I think sometimes you lose that when you have the tattoos everywhere. But I see you have a tattoo on your hand. What is that?
Yeah, so I have a tattoo on my hand. It's a microphone, and I have
Oh wow.
the date of the year my father was born, and it says unconditional love because he taught me to speak my mind and to express myself, and I'll be forever grateful for that.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Unfortunately, that's about all the time we have. Is this your first official interview?
Yeah, it is. It is my first official interview.
Yes. So when you blow up,
Oh,
don't forget about us because I
I will
know
not.
I'm very confident that you're about to blow up. Very, very
Oh,
confident.
thank you. Oops.
Dude,
This I got this leash a
Blow
little
up
too
or
tight, I
fall
think.
down.
Yeah.
That's what happens with first interviews. That's what happens with first interviews. Don't sweat that.
Yeah.
Don't sweat that.
I'm
all
not
right.
worried about it.
So I want to thank you for joining us. Telling your story, telling us about your career. Are there any final words, any final thoughts, any shout outs you want to give out there to anybody?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to you guys. Thank you very much for having me. It was awesome. I'd like to thank everyone supporting my video. I'd like to thank the team who helped me put all this together and make my vision come true. And follow me on all social media platforms at Brayden Henri Music. And I look forward to sharing more of my art with you guys.
Yeah, and make sure you also
Good.
check out his full video. The full video, it's in the description. Just click on that link, check it out. It's really good stuff. Really good stuff. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to the EP. So I'm going to be looking forward to come out. I'm following you already, so I can't wait.
thank you. And yeah, my EP is available on all streaming platforms.
Oh, it's
So
already available. Okay.
yeah, it's available now. So you guys
All right.
could listen to that on your preferred streaming platform and
Spotify. What's the name of the EP?
get what you need. It's called Brayden Henri. It's a self-titled.
Self-titled.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, pull
Awesome.
that down a little
Pull
bit,
it down,
Rob.
Rob. We
Pull it
can't
down a
see it.
little bit, Rob. There you go. There you go. All
Brayden Henry.
right.
All right, check that out. Check out the EP, Brayden Henri, all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple. Who else?
Amazon,
Amazon
Deezer.
Music. Perfect. All right.
Yeah, all of
So
it.
we're looking forward to it. Thank you again for joining us, Brayden.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
And good luck to you. Good
And
luck
we'll,
Thank you,
to you.
Brayden.
we'll bring you back when you release
good luck.
some more videos or something, or your next
Awesome.
album, or your full.
Look forward to talking to you guys again.
All right. Thank you, Brayden. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Man, we've had a couple
So-
of great guests today.
So here's a little fun fact about Brayden, or actually Brayden's
Uh-oh.
dad. Brayden's dad was actually my brother's best friend in high school. So it's just absolutely wonderful to see Brayden up and coming, coming into his own, and just it's a beautiful sound. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah. Awesome.
Good for you guys. Good for you guys.
Mhm.
All right,
Thanks
before
for
we get
joining
into
us,
our
Brayden.
quick fire, let's give a shout out to our sponsor for today's episode, Utopian Lights Candles. That's Utopian with an E. Utopian Lights luxury candles caters to a specific clientele. They focus on clients who are on their healing journey to self-love. Visit Utopian with an E lights.co for a healthy glow up. Use the code GOALGETTER and you'll get 25% off your purchase of $45 or more. UtopianLights.co. All right, it's time for some quick fire.
Is it going to be quick, though? Is it going to be quick?
We're going to have to
Gotta
make
be.
it quick. All right. So our hosts have some topics to share, but we only have 3 minutes to discuss and 1 minute to hear from the audience. So please make sure you're typing those comments fast. Any topics where the hosts will not shut up, we're going to use the dreaded mute button and they can save their comments for the after show. Let's do it. All right, I'm up first. I wanted to talk
Wah,
about
wah.
Kim Potter. By now, most of us have heard of Officer Kim Potter, who fatally shot a black man, Daunte Wright, during a traffic stop last April in Minnesota. Her taser, she said she intended to grab her taser instead of her gun, and she shot him. Now, Potter faced up to 25 years after being convicted on first and second degree manslaughter charges, but prosecutors felt 7 years was reasonable. Well, the judge, Regina Chu, felt differently, instead giving her only 2 years including time served and 8 months on probation. The judge defended her ruling, stating, quote, "This is not a cop found guilty of murder for using his knee to pin down a person for 9.5 minutes as he gasped for air," calling Potter a cop who made a tragic mistake. At one point, the judge was seen tearing up. And Daunte Wright's mother responded, saying, "This is the problem with our justice system today. White women's tears trump justice." So my question
Speak on it.
is 2
Speak on it.
years too little time? Let's start with Ellen.
Yeah, answer yes. I think that I think that the judge kind of threw out a bullshit argument saying that the only kind of police brutality against Black people is the extreme of George Floyd. That's not how it manifests every day. You know what I mean? It manifests in things like this, and people getting off for, getting a short sentence, for something like this. Yeah, I absolutely think
Okay.
that it was too short.
All right, Robbie.
She's being treated like a kid.
Yeah, I feel the sentence in this case is a little short, 2 years, and I think she only has to do 2/3, and then there's potential for time off with good behavior. That seems a little bit lenient, given that someone did lose their life, whether it was accidental or not. It was a killing, and yeah, 2 years is definitely a little light for me.
Liz?
So this judge, Regina Chu, just put into question all of her previous judgments and sentencing throughout her entire time on the bench. She was tearing up, and like you said, she was asking the public to empathize with the accused. It's not her place to do that. And it begs the
No.
question whether she was empathizing instead of handing down a fair sentence.
Mm.
If she was tearing up when she was deciding on the sentence for this particular police officer and decided, okay, well, I'm going to empathize with her, and she didn't really mean to do it. And she's not like Derek Chauvin or Chavin or however you say his name.
Chauvin.
And so that's not fair either for the family. The same thing happened in the Amber Geiger case. Amber Geiger was the police officer in Dallas who went into the wrong apartment and shot and killed someone. And the judge after that hugged her after handing down her sentence. So no, I'm not for this at all. And I question whether or not this sentence was fair and unbiased, if you
Okay.
will.
All right, so I'm gonna give myself about at least 15 seconds. So I am of a differing opinion. I think 2 years is reasonable, actually. I mean, I might have gone for 5. I'll say I might have gone for 5 with the ability for probation for good behavior, but there are a ton of evil, racist, psychopathic cops out there who don't, and I don't think Kim Potter is one of those cops. You know, we're all human. We all make mistakes. She made a fatal mistake in the heat of the moment, and she should pay for that mistake. 2 years I think is a little lenient, but
A lot lenient.
she needs to pay with some years. I just don't think 25. I think 7 years was excessive as well. I'm just saying. That's what I think. I think
I'm just disagreeing.
putting myself
That's
in,
what
in
I'm
that
saying.
position,
Yeah.
if I made a mistake
I'm
like
just
that, I
disagreeing.
wouldn't want
That's
to
what
be
I'm saying.
in jail for
And I wouldn't
25
trust
years.
this judge for any
Well,
other sentencing in the future. Would not trust her.
yeah.
Would not trust her.
Also, you shouldn't like put it in the lens of, well, I wouldn't want to be sentenced for 7 years. You wouldn't want to be sentenced for anything. Like
But
that's not
but
Hello.
understanding that I made a
Hello.
mistake, but understanding I made a
Hello.
mistake,
But
I
there are
it's
consequences to your
there's
mistake. So if you
and I
had,
agree with consequences,
if you were a
but not
civilian, if
equivalent
you, but if you
consequences
were
to
a
someone who
civilian
did it
and
on
if you were
purpose.
a civilian and you accidentally pulled out your gun and shot and killed someone, guaranteed you would have got at least 20
I'm
to
just
life.
saying I don't think it should be equivalent
Guaranteed.
consequences to someone who made a mistake.
Guaranteed you would have gotten 20 to life.
All right, so
Guaranteed.
we're going online.
Plus,
So okay.
you brown.
All
You're a
right,
black.
all right. So the judge showed more compassion. This is Jacqueline Robinson. The judge showed more compassion for Miss Potter
to
than
death.
she did the victim and his family. Imagine 2 years and $1,000 for a human life. The only thing she did was to come off the bench and give Miss Potter a Bible and stroke her hair. Mike Winter says, how do you throw out the
Everyone else
sentencing?
felt sorry for her.
Mike Winter says, how do you throw out the sentencing guidelines for those powerful white women tears? and fatal mistakes have sentencing guidelines. So, I mean, I totally agree with all of those comments. I think 5 years would have been reasonable. All right, that's it for that one. So
Well,
let's.
remember that. When you caught up,
So
when
we
you
calling
jumped
that?
up in the
What are we
face,
calling on that?
Then yeah. What are we calling? Thank you, Rob. Is that truth, lies, or? I'm sorry. I'm laughing at Ellen's. What did yours say, Ellen?
Racist bullshit.
racist bullshit. Call it out, Ellen.
I'm, I'm going.
And a
I'm gonna
college
go with some truth and
and a
maybe some
college
shenanigans.
student shall lead them. And a college student shall lead them.
I think 2 years is a little lenient, but I think a lighter sentence is reasonable in this situation. All right, so let's get into our quick fire number 2. Lizzie, what's up?
Oh my god.
So we are talking about now a former DC police officer who got caught up in some shit. Woo! So he
I can't.
was caught up in a sting in which he was found to have been in a car performing sex acts, engaging in sex acts with a 16-year-old, which per DC law, a 16-year-old is under the age of consent. And so he was arrested and he was charged with 2 counts of sexual misconduct. Now, there are a lot of people who are on different sides of this equation. A lot of people are saying, but he was a police officer, a decorated police officer. And let me just announce the age difference in this. Police officer was 53. Child, the person that he was engaging with, 16. So the question is becoming, a lot of people have been talking about this, including Blade magazine, talking about what should the age of consent be? Is 16 too old? Is
Just
16 not eligible for someone to be under the age, for someone to be considered a child
Mhm.
when it comes to sexual activity, especially with an adult?
Let's
Were
start
you
with
saying
Robbie.
something, Neil?
Yeah, I was going to say. Sorry, I was going to say that he was arrested in Florida, not DC, and where the age of consent is 18. So, Robbie.
Yeah. Yeah. The age difference really struck me as something wrong. I mean, 53 and 16. I mean, you're being a predator, whether you want to
Oh,
admit it or not. You're being a predator,
oh.
and I know that in Florida, when I was looking into this, that a person of 16 years old can engage in sexual activity with someone who's 18 to 23.
There is a
So
limit.
so if you're 16 or 17, you can engage in sexual acts with someone 18 to 23. Okay, that kind of puts it in that right age range. You're experimenting. You're just trying it out. At 53, you know what the hell you're doing, and you're preying on a piece of candy. That's just, it's
Right.
gross.
Ellen?
And also, I think, just
Yeah.
very quickly before we get to
Sorry.
Ellen, I think that the age 18 to 23 allows for a 16-year-old to date someone in high school, right? A 17-year-old, an 18-year-old. At 16, I dated a senior in high school.
Right.
53, that would
Let's
have
get to
been,
Ellen.
around my dad's age. Not
Yeah.
appropriate.
We got that.
Ellen?
Yeah. So, this guy, this is like I find this especially despicable because he's preying on a young gay kid. This kid, I don't know. From the Blade article, they said that they're not sure whether he was out to his parents or not or whatever. He was like a kid in a candy shop. Like when you're a young gay kid, you're just grasping for like to be around people who are gay. You know what I mean? You are like more, I would say, more susceptible than like a 16-year-old straight person. This guy knew what he was doing. Like, he's been a 16-year-old gay kid before. He should know better that this kid is gonna like jump at any opportunity he gets. This is like, yeah, it's predatorial. It's disgusting.
I'm just agreeing with Liz I'm sorry, Rob and Ellen. So, Liz, you got about 15 seconds if we can do it quick.
I just want to remind people that the child bride laws in this country are still not in effect for a lot of states. In some states, the age of consent for a child marrying an adult is 14. In some states, 15. In some states, This was a source of contention last year in the state of North Carolina, where they're trying to get the child bride laws passed, where you have to at least be 18. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. In no way, shape, or form should a 53-year-old man should be trolling the internet looking for 16, 15, 16-year-olds and then engaging in sex with them, especially if you are a police officer and you know the law in the
Yeah.
state. Neo made a point to say he's a police officer in DC, but this was in Florida. He knows the law. It's his responsibility to know the law. That's his responsibility, not the child.
All right, real quick. So one comment from Jacqueline Robinson. He wouldn't have been arrested. My own parents would have beaten him into bad health and then called the police to turn
Especially
themselves.
my mother. Especially my mother.
Yeah, that was a good topic. Thank you for bringing that to our. Oh, one more, two more comments, real quick. Narcissistic abuse. This is from Jeanette Brown. Power and control. Sherry Blaine Priest says sexual predators know exactly what they are doing.
Mhm.
All right, and what are we calling this? Are we calling this truth, lies, or shenanigans? This is some shenanigans going on here.
Just no.
Shenanigans and fuck this dude.
And all bullshit.
I love it, Ellen.
You gave me a lot of paddles.
Yeah,
I got like 6.
you're using them effectively. That's awesome, and they're double-sided.
Yeah.
All right. And our fan topic this week came from Jacqueline Robinson regarding the Ahmaud Arbery trial, where witnesses talked about how Arbery's killers used racist slurs and often talked about how they wanted to violently harm Black people. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go into that in our show today, so we're going to spend some time in the after show. And also, I think Robbie Rock wants to update us on the trucker convoy in Canada, where they're using kids as human shields. So
The Freedom Convoy, the freedom.
Freedom Convoy. So that's exclusively on TLSfans.com after the show and available Tuesdays on our podcast at TLSpod.com. All right, let's go into our game show. Today's game should be fun. Should be fun. I think we're gonna see how everybody does. This is Black History Trivia. We'll go around the horn. Whoever answers right gets a point, and the person with the most points gets the final thought for the show. You may not be able to read it. I tried to make it as big as possible, but I'll read them to you.
Yeah, I can't.
Juneteenth, which became an official, this is for Ellen first. Juneteenth, which became an official federal holiday in 2021, commemorates this. Is it the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in the U.S., the service of Black troops in the U.S. Army during the Civil War, the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that effectively ended separate but equal education, or the signing of the law of the Civil Rights Act of 1964?
Emancipation Proclamation.
Okay, emancipation of enslaved Americans. We're going to check that answer. That is absolutely correct. The name comes from the June 19, 1865 date when federal troops arrived in Texas after the Civil War and proclaimed that the state's slaves were free. All right, next question is Rob B.
I just want to ask, why did they use a picture of Rosa Parks?
I think that's just the overall picture. It's just an overall picture, but the questions don't have the questions actually don't have pictures, individual pictures. All right. So, what group launched the Freedom Rides in 1961? Was it the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, CORE, Congress of Racial Equity, or SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee?
I'm going to go with ACLU.
ACLU is incorrect. That would be CORE, Congress of Racial Equity. Busloads of Freedom Riders went from town to town testing local compliance with federal orders to desegregate interstate bus terminals. All right, so Rob B, no points for you. Question
No
3.
points for me.
Oh, this might be an easy one for Lizzie. At the time of her historic bus incident, what was Rosa Parks' occupation? Was it hospital orderly, drugstore clerk, high school cafeteria worker, or department store seamstress?
I mean, I appreciate that they gave her, a very reputable occupation there. They
That's
could have
true.
been like, was she twerking? Was she twerking? She was, if I recall correctly, she was a seamstress.
Department store seamstress. Let's check that. That is correct. Parks was arrested December 1st, 1955, after refusing to surrender a seat to a white passenger. All right. So, which of these influential, this is for Ellen, which of these influential authors became the first African American to win the Nobel Prize for Literature? That'd be Maya Angelou, August Wilson, Lorraine Hansberry, or Toni Morrison.
Maya Angelou, maybe.
Angelou? I know Lizzie
Actually, wait. Can I make it Toni Morrison?
You can definitely make it Toni Morrison, and that would be correct.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Morrison, author of The Beloved and The Bluest Eye, won the Nobel Prize in 1993 for novels characterized by visionary force and poetic import that give life an essential aspect of American reality.
Great
job.
pivot, Ellen. And let me just say that this coming on the 23rd and the 24th, and I'll post this on our page. Civil rights activist Angela Davis will be doing a reading of Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye. You can watch that virtually. I will share that with everyone.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.
All right. Next question for Rob B.
I can't see shit with these questions.
Sorry.
That's
Before he was elected president of the United States, Barack
Oh,
Obama
good
served
Lord.
as a U.S. senator of which Midwestern state? Would that be Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, or Ohio?
Well, I'm just going to keep picking the first one. I have no idea.
You don't?
You
You going with
I have
Illinois?
no idea where he's from.
He's
I
not
have
from
no
here.
idea where he's from.
So you're
I'm
going with
gonna say
Illinois? Okay. All right, Robbie. That is
Man.
correct.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Obama was
At least
elected
you
the
didn't
junior
call
U.S.
me.
Senator from Illinois, November 2004, and filled that role until he was elected president 4 years later. All right, next question. This is for Liz E. In addition to his influential campaigns to become president of the United States in 1984 and 1988, the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson is known for his leadership roles with which civil rights organizations? Southern Christian Leadership Conference, People United to Save Humanity, Operation Push, the Rainbow Coalition, or all of the above?
Okay, so I'm not familiar with the second one, but I know about the Rainbow Coalition, so I'm going to go with that.
Rainbow Coalition. That is incorrect. Incorrect.
What is?
Oh, it's all of the
All
above.
of the above.
Starting with his
Yeah,
participation in a
I'm
sit-in
not
in his
familiar with the
hometown
second
of
one.
Greenville, South Carolina, in July 1960, Jackson has dedicated his life to civil rights activism through several organizations. All right,
All right.
this
Learned
is
something
the
today.
last round. Ellen, you have a chance to win
Ooh, with this
I
one,
know.
with this one question.
with this question right here. In 1960, 4 African American college students staged a
Ooh.
sit-in that helped integrate this store's lunch counter. Is it Woolworths, W.T. Grant, G.C. Murphy, or S.H. Kresge?
Kresge.
Thank
You,
you.
you don't remember
I have
Kresge's?
no idea,
Uh-oh.
but I'm gonna say W.T. Grant.
W.T. Grant. That is your final answer? That is
Yeah.
incorrect.
Oh.
Incorrect.
So we are talking about, so the undefeated, my intern just wrote a story on this 2 weeks ago, talking about the Greensboro 4 or the A&T 4 at North Carolina A&T in Greensboro.
Yep.
Mm.
All right. So we're going to keep going this last round. All right. So in 1968, she became the first, this is for Rob, first African American woman elected to Congress. Would that be Barbara Jordan, Maxine Waters, Shirley Chisholm, or Carol Moseley Braun?
Shirley
know this.
Chisholm.
I was going to say, you should know this.
Well,
We've had this.
how should I know this?
We've talked about it on the show. We did a Black History profile last year on her. So
Well, then I'm glad
that
that
is
the name
correct.
stuck. somewhere.
Clearly. So that is correct, Robbie.
I need y'all to keep coming hard at Neo. Remember, Neo didn't know the capital of Canada. So,
What's the capital of Canada? No. So,
see?
Chisholm represented the 12th District of New York in the U.S. House of Representatives in 1969 to 1983, though she was unsuccessful in her campaign to become the Democratic Party's 1970 presidential nominee. Her unbought and unbossed slogan has influenced Black leaders for decades since then. All right.
But for all of the women on the list, everyone should look them up.
Yes,
Everyone should look them up.
definitely. All right,
Mhm.
Lizzie, this is to tie. Members of of what labor union helped to build the nation's Black middle class and civil rights movement? Was that Brothers of Sleeping Car Porters, American Federal of Teachers, Communications of Workers of America, or International Ladies Garment Workers Union?
This is an interesting one. This is
I had to guess on this one myself. I got it right, but I had to.
I'm gonna say number 2.
You say number 2, American Federal of Teachers,
Yeah.
right? That is incorrect. Incorrect. Brothers of Sleeping Car Porters, thousands of Pullman porters created the first labor union for African Americans and exemplified the possibility of upward mobility for Blacks. So, Lizzie, you are out. Wow. This is the final question. There's no more questions after this one. So, Ellen and Robbie, whoever
Robbie
gets this
got 2,
correct,
right?
yeah,
Robbie
Yeah.
got 2 correct?
whoever gets
wow.
this
She's
correct,
guessing.
whoever gets this correct the fastest, wins. So,
You're gonna have to read fast because I can't see.
who was elected chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, in 1966?
Oh,
Was it Charles E. Cobb, Stokely Carmichael,
No,
John
this one-
Lewis, or Bobby
Stokely
Seale?
Carmichael. Stokely Carmichael.
RB, did you have a guess?
No. I guess I'll go with John Lewis, seeing as Ellen jumped all over that.
Let's go. Let's see. Stokely Carmichael. Yay!
Hey.
Ellen wins the game.
Wow.
Good stuff, Ellen. I can't even. Wow, that's amazing, Ellen. That's amazing. You come in and just crush it. All right, let's get in some shout outs.
you,
I
Ellen.
really.
What were you saying, Ellen?
I'd say it would look really bad as like a white person if I didn't get any of those questions.
It would, but you look
I
great.
just
You
bombed
won.
the whole thing.
All right, Ellen, shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out to all this. I always give my shout out to the students at UMD suffering, but got to do it again. Shout out to everyone. We're getting into midterms territory, and once midterm starts, it doesn't stop. So shout out to all the people consuming way too much caffeine right now,
Or vodka. Or vodka.
or vodka,
All
or
right,
both.
Robbie Wright.
A shout out to all the Canadian families who will be enjoying Family Day tomorrow. I know that it's not mandated across all the territories on the same day. So Ontario and a few other provinces have it tomorrow. So enjoy. I hope we have some wonderful weather. Get out, do something fun outside with some family members, as the day implies.
Lizzie.
A quick shout out to our friend of the show, Avinash Putty. Today is his birthday, so happy birthday, Avi.
Happy birthday,
But also
Avi.
But also to the NBA, who this is All-Star Weekend, and yesterday they had their first inaugural HBCU Classic game between Howard University and Morgan State. It's in a continued effort to recognize HBCUs in this country. So shout out to the NBA for taking the initiative and recognizing Black History Month. Black History Month.
And you stole my shout out. My shout out was to Avi Putty as well. Happy
Aw,
birthday, buddy.
He's love. He's love.
All right, and our final
shout
shout out goes to our winners of the Pet Shenanigans of the Week, Katie Revive Harley and her puppy Topher. Topher's a beautiful brown mixed breed dressed up
I
for
love it.
Valentine's Day with a
Profiling
cool
for
bandana.
Valentine's Day. Aw,
Topher.
so handsome.
To see
So
all of the
handsome.
pets and to post your favorite pets photo and video, join the TLS Pet Shenanigans Facebook group, mypetshenanigans.com. And that is officially all the time we have for today's show. We went over a little bit. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. We hope you maybe learned something, gained a new perspective, and got some things off your chest. We'll be back next week with another movie time with Micah. We're talking Django Unchained, so be sure to watch it or rewatch it before Sunday so we can talk about it together. Don't forget the podcast is available for download every Monday, so subscribe to Truth Lies Shenanigans wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Beyond the Scars podcast. And we're going to continue to keep the record button on for our after show live exclusively on TLSfans.com immediately following the show, and available for podcast subscribers every Tuesday at TLS Pod. And our winner for the final thought, winning the Black History Trivia, is Ellen Dahl. Ellen Dahl, talk to us.
Ellen.
Take us out.
Yeah, as mentioned before, I see people practicing lots of unhealthy habits. I'm here to remind you to go to bed. Go to bed at a normal time. Go to bed at a normal time. Things are better when you have more than 5 hours of sleep. That's my final thought.
I love
But
it.
she means go to bed and practice safe sex. Go to bed and practice safe sex. That's what
Yeah, that too.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lizzie, Ellen, Robbie Rock. Our guests, Brayden Henri and Shanice Lewis. And our people behind the scenes, always working hard to bring in awesome show, Nesmi, Gianni, Jose, and Olivia. But most importantly, we have to thank you for watching and listening to our shenanigans each and every week. And we will see you next time.